Boop-doop-a-doo. Welcome to my show. I hope you are good. Welcome, everyone. Kitty Kill, good evening. Deadline, crime, and lifestyle. Anna Marie. Gemma, good evening. Welcome to tonight's trivia. Don't know how the weather's treating you, but I hope it's treating you well. It's raining, it's pouring. The old man is snoring. He bumped his head and won't wake up until the morning. It is raining like crazy here where I am. Make sure you're on live chat. That way you will not miss a single message as it comes in. Give it another 2 minutes, 2 and 2, as Chuck Woolery would say. And then we'll get tonight's trivia going. All the trivia questions tonight are on women on death row and in prison. It is raining in SoCal. Good evening, Reichart. I hope you are doing well. Will and Grace was a freaky TV show. All our childhoods dark, messed up. We're back in 2 and 2. I wonder if he came up with that catchphrase himself. Yeah, the 2 and 2, Chuck Woolery from Love Connection. Good evening, Tom Baker. Welcome to tonight's trivia. Hope you are doing well across the pond. Left-handed RN. Good evening. We love you too, Gemma. Remember to be on all messages or live messages, not top chat. That is true. I don't even know why do they even have that option. They should just make it live only. Still don't understand why they have it. And I've noticed another thing is, in rewind, when you watch the stream afterwards, a lot of the time the live chat messages are not showing up when you watch it later. All right. Love Connection was hilarious. It was. It was better than the dating game. Because YouTube sucks. This is the 382nd episode of Trivia. 382nd. It's hard to imagine that sometimes. This trivia night strictly adheres to factual evidence verified from the FBI, Department of Justice, Interpol, and Scotland Yard whenever needed, along with court records, transcripts from trials. It does not include conspiracy theory, speculation, or unverified claims about what may have happened. If you are seeking sensationalism or content related to similar theories or lies spread by those who can't be bothered to research the topic, this event and topic may not be the right fit for you. Tonight, the programming in all of the research comes from the Department of Justice, the Bureau of Prisons, BOP, and the FBOP, that's the Federal Bureau of Prisons, Death Penalty Information Center, court records for each case, and the Discovery Channel and Dateline NBC. So obviously, viewer discretion is strongly advised. I am not talking about puppies and rainbows on this channel. All of the content is about crimes and criminals here. If you are watching on a cell phone or tablet, change it to the horizontal setting. of the screen. All of the content is made to fit on a horizontal setting and doesn't look, the correctly on if you have it on vertical. Tonight's trivia is on women in prison and in death row. Statistics you should know about women on death row and in prison. 10 to 12.5% of all those women who serving time in the federal prison system in the United States, federal and state. Only 10 to 12% are women. 88% of all women in prison were victims of child abuse or as a teen. Only 8 states track partner-on-partner assaults in women's prisons. They track assaults, but they do not track partner-on-partner crimes. Only 8 states do. Women in prison are more likely to be a victim of assault by a guard than men are by a guard. Women as a whole serve shorter sentences than men for the same crimes. If you take first-degree homicide and first-degree homicide of a Caucasian and a Caucasian, you have to, match them up equally. You can't say, take the sentencing for someone who's African American versus, someone who is not. But when you have the same exact two people, women will serve on average 9 years less than a man for the same exact crime. The death penalty, where it meets the standards and it can be given out, often juries will not hand down a death sentence to a woman, instead giving her life without parole or some exorbitant amount of time, like over 100 years. Women who have been committing crimes have become more and more violent against their families and children since 1982. They're still trying to figure out why. There was a sudden spike in 1982, and the crimes that women are committing against their families and their children spiked then, and it stayed as high as it is. But something changed in 1982. Additionally, females on death row are treated vastly different than men on death row. In most states, but not all, most are free to move around in the housing pods, have jobs, take educational courses. If they have children, even if they are adults, they try to make sure these connections with their family are there before they are put to death. As it gets closer and closer to the actual death date of a female prisoner, either in the federal or state prison system, they want to make sure that that woman has a connection to their family and is able to say goodbye. When it comes to women only, they do not do that or put that effort into men who are about to be put to death. There is only a couple of states that have like little grassroots, outside sources that come in and try to make those connections for men. But in the women's system, again, in the state and the federal system, they want to make sure that woman has that connection and is able to say goodbye before they're put to death. Additionally, females in the federal prison system on death row often, not always, have access to better legal representation than men convicted of the same crimes. That is a statistical anomaly that women will get more and more better representation as the appeals process goes on. So you have your case, you all have your attorneys who are part of your actual legal case itself. And then when they go to file appeals, these women are getting better and better attorneys as the appeals process goes forward than men. Additionally, females convicted of capital murder have better chance of having their sentences changed to life without parole than a man for the same crime or crimes. In last week's trivia, I had the question about, the trivia night was on the Wonderland murders, and I made a connection to the O.J. Simpson murder case and evidence that came up in his case. A viewer reached out to me and wanted to make sure that I gave a more correct, information about that connection. Only one glove was found at the Wonderland murders, not 2 gloves like the O.J. Simpson case. Additionally, no one tried it on in court like the glove don't fit. You must acquit like they did with OJ. As the Wonderland, but the Wonderland murders are unsolved. Yes, there was a criminal case, but it was all done with and over with. They did not convict anyone of the actual murders, the Wonderland murders themselves. It is a cold case and still unsolved as of 2025. OJ was not a suspect in that trial, but he knew several of the people who were involved, who were murdered that night, and he knew the people like the couple of the porn stars that were connected to the case, and he stayed friends with these people years afterwards. But he was not a suspect, nor any other connection other than he knew the people. But again, a special shout out to Mrs. Atwater for bringing this to my attention. And with that said, without any further delay, let's get ready to rumble on some trivia. Question number 1 is now on your screen. Which woman became the first woman executed in the U.S. after the death penalty was reinstated? Was it A, Elaine Wuornos, B, Velma Barfield, C, Carla Faye Tucker, or D, Judy Benito? OJ most likely right now is watching football and all drunk. Well, he's dead. So, and speaking of OJ Simpson, OJ Simpson's estate agreed to finally settle the civil lawsuit with the Goldman family and pay them $53 million. That just happened, I do believe, on Friday. But who was the first woman executed in the U.S. after the reinstatement of the death penalty? In hell. Good evening, Callie Lisa and Sweet Universe and Bubbles with a Z. Love the name Bubbles. Kathleen, good evening. Welcome all of you and anyone else I may have missed to Trivia Night. When did O.J. Simpson die? I believe earlier this year. I've got this supercomputer sitting right in front of me here. Let me try it. When did O.J. Simpson die? April 10th, Reichart. April 10th, 2024. Yes, so he's been gone for longer than I thought. I thought it was earlier this year. April 10th of 2024, O.J. Simpson went to meet his maker, Bleeza Bubba. Whoop. Stand up there. Would OJ go to heaven? Because that sounds like heaven. Oh shit! On my birthday? Oh, well now write that down, ladies and gentlemen. We can sing happy birthday to Kitty Coo on April 10th. In case Kitty Coo never tells us, I'm going to write it down. April 10th, Kitty Coo birthday. He's eating hell wings. Well, the answer to question number 1 is B as in boy. Velma Barfield was the first female convicted, sentenced to death, put to death after the reinstatement of the death penalty in 1976. Question number 2. Elaine Wuornos, executed in 2002, was convicted of killing how many men? Was it A, 6, B, 19, C, 5, or D, 7? I was born on Easter, but it's never been on Easter since you were born. Hmm. When was Elaine Wuornos was executed in 2002 for question number 2 of 20. How many men was she actually executed for? Good evening, Aubrey Lady. Welcome to tonight's trivia. I hope you all had a terrific week, every one of you. I had a pretty easy week. I'm kind of putting everything together. I was actually doing it here tonight, putting together a shopping list of things that, for Thanksgiving dinner. We're having a scaled down Thanksgiving this year. I'm only feeding 18 instead of, 25 or 30. Only 18 this year. Your birthday falls on Thanksgiving every 8 years, but I was not you weren't born on Thanksgiving. My birthday falls on Father's Day. Was it Father's Day the day that I was born? Well, it wasn't the exact day, but it was Father's Day to my father. He became a father that day. You've been sick this week, but feeling slightly better now. I hope you get better soon, sweetheart. Question number 2. The correct answer is D as in dog. 7. 7 men. Question number 3. What famous last words did Carla Tucker say before her execution in 1998? Was it A, kiss my ass? B, let's do this already? C, I love all of you? Or D, dear Lord, I killed many, many more. Sorry. Had a wooden floor put in my bedroom. That's nice. Is it like oak? Or I guess it doesn't really matter as long as it's comfortable on your feet. Times are hard and all inflated turkey. Question number 3 of 20. What did Carla Tucker say before they executed her? She was a drug addict. Carla Tucker was a lot of things. Not a very nice woman, to say the least. What did she say before she was executed? The correct answer is C as in cat. I love all of you. Question number 4. What woman on death row was part of the notorious satanic child murder case? Was it A, Marjorie Taylor Greene, B, Marjorie Armstrong, C, Maureen McDermott, or D, Maureen Kaufman? Question number 4 of 20. What woman on death row was part of the notorious satanic child murder case? Good evening, Gone Girl. Welcome to tonight's trivia. Read all the Chad Daybell books. that made me want to kill some people or self-harm. I knocked over my little bunny. Got to set him back up. Callie Lisa has been a member for 10 months. Thank you very much, Callie Lisa. A is what Trump wishes. Yeah, they're feuding right now, aren't they? He actually pulled his endorsement of her. Question number 4. The correct answer is C as in cat. Maureen McDermott was part of the satanic child murder case and is currently on death row, I do believe. I do not think she has been executed yet. Question number 5. What was unique about Lisa Montgomery's federal execution in 2001? Was it A, firing squad, B, represented herself in the case, C, first female in 70 years, or D, besties with Lori Vallow? Question number 5 of 20. What was unique about Lisa Montgomery federal execution in 2001? Good evening, Sprinkled Donut. You're listening. Oh, everybody be very, very quiet. Sprinkled Donut is at work. Smoke them if you got them. Question number 5. What was unique about her execution? Tonight, I am drinking Squeezed to Death by Liquid Death. Squeezed to Death. It's an orange citrus flavor of Liquid Death. You still have firing squads? Yes, we do, Tom. The most recent execution at the state level was in the state of Utah by firing squad. The state of Idaho just reenacted the firing squad, brought it back because they are having, all the states and the federal government is having problems getting the phenobarbital, which is used as part of the lethal injection concoction. It's 3 drugs, but phenobarbital is one of them. And the death row cases have been, stacking up and backing up, for a while since they can't get the drug. So states are looking at other ways. Well, we go back to the electric chair, or we go back to firing squad or hangings. But Utah was the most recent use of the firing squad, I do believe. I still have my First Amendment right. Yes, you do. South Carolina, too, has a firing squad. Question number 5. The correct answer is C as in cat. She was the first female in the federal prison system to be executed. Donald Trump, during his first term, reinstated the federal prosecution and carrying out of the federal death penalty, even though the death penalty at the state level had been used for several years. They courts just kept on arguing about, is it constitutional? Should the federal government be at their level, be carrying out executions? And he put it into a rapid, speeding it up vastly. And he executed quite a few during before the end of his first time when he was president. Now in 2020 and 2025, I think there is a total of 11 individuals who are eligible to be executed by the end of the year. I mean, that means they are completely out of appeals. They have no more, rights to, they can't get a stay unless the federal government gives them a stay of their execution because of something greater comes up, new evidence. Someone else confesses to it and brings out a DVD of the murder. I mean, or something, would have to come up. All right, next one. Question number 6. Which one below is still on death row as of 2025, has changed her story multiple times since sentencing? Is it A, Darlie Rotier, B, Lori Vallow Daybell, C, Susan Smith, or D, Carla Faye Tucker? Question number 6 of 20. Which one below is still on death row as of 2025? Gary Gilmore in Utah. Yeah. F. Callie Lisa's going with F. Which one below is still on death row as of 2025? Tom Baker says, I hate Darlie Rotier. I'm going to have to agree with you, Tom Baker. She is a real piece of work. Rykart B, of course. I read the book about the Gilmore when I was in high school. Oh, that was a typo? Callie Lisa? Were you going for D? Question number 6. The correct answer is A as in apple. Ladies and gentlemen, Lori Vallow did not get the death penalty. Only Chad got the death penalty. Lori Vallow did not get the death penalty and is not on death row. Question number 7. According to the BOP, which is the Bureau of Prisons, what percentage of female inmates willingly take part in a gay relationship in prison? Is it A, 93%, B, 97%, C, 74%, or D, 52%? Question number 7 of 20. According to the Bureau of Prisons, what percentage of female inmates willingly take part or willingly take on a gay relationship in prison? You would think she would be at this point, sweet universe, but she's not. She's still filing appeals. And I mean, you could there is no real dead set line. Like every one on death row gets 9 avenues to appeal, or a drop dead number. It's like, oh, after they've used up that 9, that's it. She can keep on filing appeals about the dumbest shit if she wants. She's guilty. She's going to be eventually executed, or she'll die in prison. One of two is going to happen. Which one comes first? How would the BLP know about this? Sweet universe, I will answer that in just a minute as soon as I give you the answer. 144,000%. Question number 7. The correct answer is D, as in dog. 52% enter into a gay relationship while in prison. How does the Bureau of Prisons, since Sweet Universe asked the question, how does the Bureau of Prisons know the percentage? They simply ask them. That's how they know. But you have to understand the difference between men and women, just on a basic scale. Women are more nurturing and more emotional and more connected. They want that type of they want that part of the relationship. They want to be in a relationship with someone who's going to support them emotionally, and be there for them. They may be on death row. They may be dying. They may have a connection with that individual. It may be a gay relationship, obviously, being them both being of the same sex, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they are in a gay relationship and they are having some type of sexual contact other than maybe kissing or hugging or something like that. They're not doing more than that necessarily. And all of this stuff, when it comes to the Bureau of Prisons and inmates in federal and in prison, state and federal level, they just simply ask them. And they're not, there's nothing to hide about it. It's not against the rules. Whereas in a male prison setting, it's more about dominance and power over another individual. It's not necessarily about the love and connection and the nurturing. It's more about the dominance over another individual. And not 100% of the time, but it's more that than it is the other way around in another, in the other setting, which be women. Okay, now that I've answered that, going on to question number 8. What item is the most traded commissary item in all U.S. state prisons, including females on death row? Is it A, ramen noodles, B, Jolly Rancher candy, or C, magazines, or D, Chad Daybell books? Question number 8 of 20. What item is the most traded commissary item in all U.S. state prisons, including females on death row? Nope. It's not against the rules. If they're two consenting individuals, it's not against the rules. They can try to stop it, but it happens. I mean, love is love. If you find love in the last moments of your life before you're executed, I mean, what is it off of my back? It's not going to affect my life, even even a tiny iota. Shouldn't affect your life either. And that's in prison on death row or in behind bars. If it happens out here on the streets, and they're two consenting adults, why does it matter? Let people live their lives. I ordered all of Chad Daybell's books. Can't wait to read them. Really? Tom Baker? Really? Or is that sarcasm, Tom? Kidding. Okay. Question number 8. The correct answer is A as in apple. Ramen noodles. Ramen noodles are the most traded commissary item in all prisons. Female prisons, death row for females, male prisons. Ramen noodles are the most traded commissary item in all prisons, even on death row. Question number 9. Which woman on death row was a former beauty queen? Was it A, Lori Vallow Daybell, B, Teresa Lewis, C, Brenda Andrews, or D, Darlie Rotier? Live and let live, die and let die too. My view might be completely against it, how you see the world or your definition from, and take from the Bible or whatever you may follow for your higher religion. That's your life. My life, I don't care what people do. As long as you don't hurt anyone else, that's all I care about. It's all I care. If you hurt someone, abuse someone, murder someone, I fucking care then. I'm sorry for cursing, but I do. I got more things to, and bigger things to worry about than what other people do. Question number 9 of 20. Which woman on death row was once a former beauty queen? In heat patient interviews, Vallow literally said she was crazy. Well, I don't think we needed her to tell us that. Her and Chad are both bonkers. Thank you, Deadline Crime and Lifestyle. Please, yes, everyone. If you enjoy this trivia night, give it a thumbs up. If you don't enjoy this and you think that I'm wasting your time, I don't know why you're here, but hit the thumbs down. Stop being lazy. Well, I don't know if it's about being lazy. People just don't do it as much. You'd be surprised just Deadline Crime and Lifestyle, of the people who are here each and every week, not only for trivia night, but to watch my content and comment. It's only about 30% are subscribers. Get a lot more views from people who are not subscribed, who just watch me because it's the next suggested video. But anyways, question number 9. The correct answer is D as in dog. Darlie Rotier was once a beauty queen. Yes, we also know that Lori Vallow was once a beauty queen, but Lori Vallow is not on death row. Only Darlie Rotier is, and Teresa and Brenda were never beauty queens. Question number 10. According to Death Penalty Information Center, how many women are on death row in America as of October of 2025? Is it A, around 80, B, around 50, C, around 30, or D, around 10? Question number 10 of 20. According to the Death Penalty Information Center, which is a website you can go if you want to read about statistics and information about death row for women and men, how many women are on death row in America as of October of 2025? How many women? Kittica's going with the old B question mark. I don't know. It could be B. I don't know. We'll find out in just a minute. Sweet universe, that's a tough one. How many? Around what number? Rock Collar's going with B. Sweet Universe is going with B as well. Gone Girl's going with C. Question number 10. The correct answer is B as in boy. As of October 1st of 2025, there were 51 women on death row in America. That counts state and federal level. 51. Now, why is it around 50? Because 51 is obviously more than 50 and it's less than 40. I mean, more than 40. But the reason why is because the number fluctuates. There are inmates who are on death row right now in America, women who are too ill to be executed. Yeah, they can't literally pick you up and say, you know what, we're going to stop your cancer treatment and then we're just going to wheel you in and execute you. They have to get a medical clearance to be able to stop the treatment and then execute someone. I bet you didn't know that as a bonus. They have to have medical clearance from a doctor to stop treatment. If you're getting treatment for liver cancer or liver disease, pancreatic cancer, whatever it might be, you're on your death door anyways. They have to get medical clearance from a doctor who says, yes, you can stop this, and you will have X amount of time afterwards in order to execute the individual. Yeah. That is the first 10 question. As we do every single Sunday night for trivia, we do 10 questions and then we take a break. You are now going to enjoy a 7-minute break. While we are on break, I'm going to cover 2 cases of people who are missing and endangered here in America. And these people are real. Just because they've been missing for a while does not mean there's no hope. I am working with the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, the Charlie Project, the FBI, along with NamUs and state and law enforcement agencies. Together, we aim to shine a light on these cases, support the families impacted, and keep these stories alive in hopes of bringing a resolution. JC Dugard was missing for 18 years before she was found eventually. So hope is real. Every year in the United States, 600,000 people approximately are reported missing each and every year. A vast majority of them are found within 90 days. But that doesn't account for the 172 to 173,000 that do vanish and are not found within that 90 days. The missing poster you see there is of April Dawn Andrews, a real person. That is an age progressed photo of what she may look like. Be on the lookout, Bolo, in the Oklahoma, Texas, Arkansas, and Missouri areas. Since she disappeared as a teenager, there have been sightings of her in those areas, particularly near the Arkansas border. If you know anything about where April Dawn Andrews is, you can call that phone number 479-451-8220. And she may not look exactly like the photo you see here. She could be wearing glasses at this point, dyed her hair, and obviously she's not going by April Dawn Andrews. So you can't pick up the white pages and look for that name. But she is out there, alive and well. We know that. and her family would just like to know that she's alive and well and have some type of closure so they can go forward in life. Remember, if you had a loved one disappear, would you not want someone to pick up the phone and call in a tip today instead of waiting until tomorrow? Oh, I got busy. Something else came up. I was going to call it in. Do it today. Our first missing person this week is Brandon Lee. He was 39 years of age when he vanished. He is a Native American, last seen unknown at this time, and we'll get into why that is in just a minute. He disappeared from Gallup, New Mexico. He is 5'5", 170 to 180 pounds. He has brown eyes and black hair. He often shaves his hair like he is seen in the photo here, or he grows it out really long. No known scars or tattoos or medical conditions. Brandon Lee was not officially reported missing until 2022, even though the last official sighting of him was in either 2018 or 2019. His disappearance is most likely connected to his internet work. Brandon preferred to be by himself. He spent countless hours online helping other people connect with their Native American heritage. He often traveled and was independently well off, not wealthy, not rich, but he was well off to the point where he didn't need to work or go to a 9-to-5 job. If you know anything about what happened to Brandon Lee, or if you've seen him, you can call 505-722-2231. At that number, you can remain anonymous if you know anything about where Brandon Lee is today. Our next missing and endangered individual is Levi Garrett Wolf. He is age 35, Caucasian, last seen again unknown, vanished from Billings, Montana. He is 6 foot tall exactly. His weight is 180 to 185 pounds. He has brown eyes and brown hair, no scars or tattoos or medical conditions. Levi Garrett Wolf often uses the last name of Sims or the fake last name of Garrett LeBlanc, taken from his favorite TV show, Friends. Levi Garrett Wolf has no known medical conditions, but may have believed prior to his disappearance that the world economic crisis was going to worsen and society was doomed to collapse. This wouldn't be the first time that he's fell for such ideas. Levi Garrett Wolf, I'm trying to put this in a nice way without making fun of anyone or demeaning anyone, believed in extreme conspiracy theories is the best way to put it. At the most, Levi Garrett Wolf has been missing for less than 8 months. He disappeared sometime in 2025, but we don't know exactly when in 2025 he disappeared, because he's been known to work in several different occupations over the years. He's a simple man, but he's not a simpleton. He does not have a high school diploma, but he does have a GED. He is well versed and loves to read. He has worked on cattle ranches and on sheep ranches in the past. He has also worked on loading freight cars and semi trucks from warehouses. He is most likely in the Montana or Wyoming area. If you know where Levi Garrett Wolf is today, you can call 406-657-8200. Again, I'll show you his picture. There's a big picture of him there. He's going to look, pretty similar to the look he has there, because according to his DMV photos that are listed on the Facebook group, he's pretty much had a beard and mustache since he was 18. So it's unlikely that he's changed that part of his look. His hair might be a little bit slightly longer, but again, 6 foot, 180 to 185 pounds. Break time is not over with yet. You have 9 seconds. And with that, have you considered subscribing to this YouTube channel? I mean, that's only the first half of trivia. We still have 10 more questions to go. Hit that subscribe button so you'll be notified when the next content comes out. These trivia nights are every single Sunday. This is the 382nd episode of Trivia Night. 382. Without further delay, let's get back to our normal programming. Question number 11 is now on your screen. What is the most common employment for women on death row in America? Is it A, line cook, food service, B, shank, manufacturer, C, girlfriend by the hour, or D, teacher, math, English, GED? They always make you sad. I'm sorry, Kirikou. But it's important that we keep a spotlight on these missing person cases. If you're not aware of what a shank is a homemade improvised weapon, usually made out of a piece of metal. It could be chain link, it could be from a piece of bed support. It's a metal knife like instrument object. They wrap some type of cloth or something around it for the handle, and they use it for stab, stabbing another person. That is what a shank is. A homemade improvised weapon. But I'm not saying that's the answer. I'm just saying that's what a shank is, because there may be people watching this or listening who do not know what a shank is. What is the most common employment for women on death row in America? Question number 11. The correct answer is D as in dog. A teacher, math, English, GED courses. Death row inmates, women, are more employed in helping other inmates pass and qualify for their GED classes. Question number 12. Violent offender commit violence. Which location on death row for women is the most dangerous, where they are likely to be harmed? Is it A, the showers, B, recreational yards, C, chow halls, or D, library or study offices? And you will note that recreational yard, B, and C, chow hall, both have asterisks next to them. Some death row inmates, women and particularly men, do not leave their cell but for 1 hour a day. And when they do leave their cell for that 1 hour a day, If they go out to recreation, yard, they are locked in a cage away from other individuals, and there's only themselves in the recreational yard. Additionally, the asterisk with chow hall. Those who are on death row may not go to chow hall and are fed in their cells through a porthole in the door. They slide the tray in, they slide the tray out, and they have to return everything every time. And it's counted, and they make damn sure if they get a spoon, that spoon must be there. Otherwise they do what's called a cell extraction. The cup must be there. The handle must be on the cup if it had a handle. That's why they have asterisks next to them, because that's not available to all death row inmates, women or men. But question number 12, where is the most likely to be assaulted? Gotta move to my other page of notes in case anybody has additional questions. The correct answer to question 12 is D as in dog, library or study offices, where women on death row would be teaching the classes for GED courses. They teach them either in the library or a study office. And so one place that women on death row are most likely to be assaulted. Question number 13. Why is Christy McMichael Scott on death row? Is it A, killed her children and husband, B, contract killings, plural, or C, arson, fire for insurance and murder, or D, kidnapping and murder? Question number 13 of 20. Why is Christy Michelle Scott on death row? Do. Why is she on death row? Well, C seems to be a popular answer for this one. Callie, Lisa, Kitiku, Gemma, Gianna Marie are going with C. Rykard's going with B. She was a contract killer. Kathleen is going with C as well. Question number 13 of 20. Lieutenant RN, C, Sweet Universe, and Ivory Lady are all logging in with C. The correct answer to question number 13 is C, as in cat. She murdered her autistic son and then set an arson fire for the insurance. She murdered her autistic son, then she set the house ablaze. Question number 14. Which percentage of women sentenced to death on appeal brought up battered wife syndrome only as an appeal, but not in their case? Is it A, 19%, B, 2%, C, 38%, or D, 99%? Question number 14 of 20. What percentage of women sentenced to death on appeal brought up battered wife syndrome only as an appeal and not in the case? I'm sorry, Gemma. Yes, it's true. How many brought it up only as part of their appeal of their sentence, but not in the case? Question number 14 of 20. The answer to question number 14 is B. B as in boy. 98% brought it up during their trial as part of their defense for why they killed the individuals. 98% brought it up during the case, and only 2% brought it up only later on appeal. For reasons why they did it was because of an appeal. The ineffective counsel, the counsel didn't let me argue this, on appeal, during the case. So I want to argue it now on appeal. Only 2%. The other 98% brought up battered wife syndrome, and you don't have to be married legally. You could have been in a domestic situation with a partner, and still you can bring up the battered wife syndrome. But 98% brought it up during the case. Question number 15. Which state has always held the most females on death row inmates by almost a 2-to-1 margin over the closest second? Is it A, California, B, Texas, C, Iowa, or D, New York? Question number 15 of 20. Which state has always held the most female death row inmates by almost a 2-to-1 margin over the closest second? We got B, and D. Right card's going with California. California. Ivory Ladies going with B. Sweet Universe, B. Left-hander to RN is going with A. Question number 15 of 20. The correct answer is A, California. California is the correct answer. There are more women in the state of California currently on death row than there are in the other states. There are almost a 2-to-1 margin of more females on death row in California than there are in the other states listed there. And it's always been that way. There was 1 year that the state of Texas and New York, both of them, came close to holding the same amount of death row inmates, females, as California. Only once, but they didn't surpass them. Not that anybody really should try, but. Question number 16. Besides filing appeals, what takes up on average 7 hours a day for female death row inmates? Is it A, working, B, watching TV and listening to the radio, C, doing each other's hair and makeup, or D, reading romance novels and writing letters? Question number 16 of 20. Besides filing appeals, what takes up on average 7 hours a day for females on death row? Lisa's going with A. Kid Cool C? Question mark? I don't know. Question number 16. Ooh, we got Gianna Marie's going with C. Gemma and Kathleen are going with B. Ivory Lady A. Sweet Universe is going with D. Got a little bit of everything on this one. Or Gianna Marie's going, or B. The correct answer to question number 16 of 20 is B as in boy. Watching television or listening to the radio. They spend on average 7 hours a day doing listening to the radio or watching television. Question number 17. Which item below is used as lipstick, blush, eyeliner, then eaten once used? Is it A, Jolly Ranchers, B, coffee beans, C, soft chewable jelly beans, or D, crayons? Let's see, makeup and hairdo YouTube videos. I'm surprised we haven't seen any of that out of the state of Georgia or Alabama, where they have an obvious issue with the amount of smuggled in cell phones. A lot of cell phones in Alabama and Georgia. You can go on to Instagram, and you can just type in prison, search for prison videos. There are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them from in Georgia and in Alabama, Oklahoma. I think Mississippi had an issue for a while, but I think a lot of those have stopped. But they're being smuggled in, just like contraband. They are contraband, but don't see too many of them out of prisons in Texas, though. But we know, dumbass got caught. I'm having a senior moment. Josh Duggar got caught trying to smuggle a cell phone back into the housing unit, and he is in the state of Texas at Seagoville Penitentiary. All of the above, says Rykart. The correct answer to question number 17 is A as in apple. Jolly Rancher candies are used as lipstick, blush, eyeliner, and then they are eaten once they have been used for their routine. Question number 18. On average, for death row females in the federal system, how many visitors do they get per month on average? Is it A, 3, B, 1, C, 2, or D, 5? Senior citizen moment. Yeah. Sometimes, Rykart, it's like I can picture the individual, but then it's like but my brain just goes, and I can't put a name to the picture, and I have to like stop and pause and reset my brain. I read about death and dismemberment and the worst part of society every single day, and I do it for you, the viewer. You're welcome. Kitty Q's going with C? Question mark? I don't know. So is Callie, Lisa, Gemma, Gianna Marie, Kathleen, and Riker all going with C. Question number 18 of 20. Brain fart? Yeah, I guess you could call it a brain fart. It's like I can picture the person. It's like, trying to think of Duggar. It's like I can picture his dumbass photo with that smirk on his face. I can picture that, but then I was like, who the hell is that? And then I just like to have to pause and just say, okay. All right, question number 18. The correct answer is C. 2 visitors per month. On average, the women on death row in the federal system get 2 visitors per month. One may be a family member or 2 family members, or it might be a family member or friend, and one might be a spiritual advisor, but they're on death row and they get on average 2 visitors per month. Not everyone. There are some that never get anyone at all. They never have a spiritual advisor. They never have a friend. They never have a family member. No one comes and visits them at all. There are some of those. Oh, thank you, Gemma. Appreciate it. Thank you. I really do appreciate the super chat. We appreciate you just as much, sweetheart. Question number 19. Which one below is the most common home cooked item made on death row by females in state prisons? Is it A, a burrito, B, cakes, C, tuna wraps, or D, nachos? Home cooked meal. This may be something that is done by the inmate, but it has to be done in their cell. What is the most common home cooked item made on death row by females in the state prison system? Not federal, state. They get pretty inventive. Again, if you go over to Instagram, you can watch some pretty good videos on the different things that they make, inmates, not just on death row. They get pretty inventive. Joe Guerrero over on After Prison show, he's done some, after prison, he's done like, meals that they've made, while they're in prison, like redoing them again, showing like making, all of the above there. I've seen him make each and every one of those items on his show. And Joe Guerrero, in case you're not familiar with the After Prison show, and that on YouTube, he's one of the OGs of the prison content on YouTube. He has been out of prison now for, I think, 10 years. I might be wrong. Might be 11 or somewhere in there. But he served 7 years in the state prison system in North Carolina or no, Virginia. I have to think for a minute where the hell does he live in Virginia? But definitely a shout out to Mr. Guerrero over on After Prison show. Which one of the items below is the most commonly home cooked items in the state prisons by women on death row? The correct answer is A as in apple. And here is how they make a burrito in their cell. They take ramen noodles. You take the seasoning packet out, and then they bust up the ramen noodles into almost a powder. And then they add water to it and make like basically a dough out of the ramen noodles themselves. Then they put the whatever they have, it's going to be the inside ingredient in it, and then they put a little bit of the seasoning from the actual ramen packet, sprinkle it on top of whatever they're going to put in, and then they fold that back over, and then the entire thing goes into a potato chip bag. That is put inside of another bag, like either a garbage can liner or something where they can keep the water out of it. Then they put it in the sink and run hot water on it, basically to set it, all together. And it makes a burrito out of ramen noodles or whatever else they have on hand that they've gotten off of commissary. A burrito. And they make it right there in their cell. I bet you'll never look at ramen noodles the same way again, will you? Question number 20 of 20. Which meal is served on Thanksgiving to 78 to 81% of all the women on death row in the federal prison system? Is it A, chicken, potatoes, cranberries in pie? B, turkey pie, potatoes, green beans, and pie? C, turkey, corn, cranberries, roll, and cookies? Or D, chicken, roll, fresh fruit, beans, and cake? Question number 20 of 20. Which meal is served on Thanksgiving to 78 to 81% of all women on death row in the federal prison system? Why are there asterisks next to the numbers? Because there are certain places in the United States, regardless if you are on death row in the state prison system or in the federal prison system, they don't give you anything special at all on Thanksgiving. You have a standard affair meal that is served to everyone, and that's what they give you. If it's not going to be turkey or chicken on that day, then it's going to be, beans and rice. That's what you're getting, beans and rice. Not everywhere serves something special on Thanksgiving or Christmas. Question number 20 of 20. We got C, question mark, by Kirikou. Gemma, Gianna Marie, Rykar, Ivory Lady, Kathleen, and Sweet Universe are all going with C as well. Oh, Kathleen, B. Sorry. Just saw that going with B. Question number 20 of 20. The answer to question number 20 of 20 is C. Turkey, corn, cranberries, roll, and cookies are served to 78 to 81% of all women on death row in the federal prison system. It's actually the standard affair meal to everyone, every man, every woman in the federal prison system on Thanksgiving Day for dinner. Turkey, corn, cranberries, rolls, and cookies. Bonus question. Death sentencing changed to life without parole. How many former death row inmates have been murdered after being removed from death row to general population in the state system since 1978? How many have been murdered? Is it A, 24, B, 4, C, 29, or D, 8? Again, let me read the question again. Death sentencing changed to life without parole. That means that they won an appeal, and now they're doing life without parole instead of being executed. How many former death row inmates have been murdered after being removed from death row to general population in the state system, states, not federal, since 1978. I'm going to go visit my family in the Talchis. Hmm. I don't know where the Tall Chiefs is. Sweet universe, where's the Tall Chiefs? Is your wife Crystal working again after our child is government reopened? She has never stopped working, right, Cart? They got an extension for a month, and then they got an extension for another like 2 weeks. And but my wife's work, they can't exactly stop. You can't just like walk away from it because they work in trying to put it the best way that I can actually say this. She works for a nuclear facility that is being decommissioned and shut down. You can't just walk away from something like that. They have to have a crew on at all times. So if they did ever lay them off or whatever, close it down completely because the government shut down and there was no money, that somebody would still have to be there and be paid to be there. They have to have people there. It's not something you just walk away from. I don't know what's the plural of tall chief? Just tall chiefs? Ah, I call them the tall chiefs. Okay. Well, I hope that everyone has a terrific Thanksgiving. The answer to the bonus question, which is again I forgot to say, is worth 2 extra points if you got this correct. The correct answer is D as in dog. 8. 8 of them have been murdered in prison by other inmates once they were removed from death row because of the crimes that they committed. Now, think about the people who are on death row. What did they do to be sentenced to death row? They committed crimes against children. People who commit crimes against children are not very liked in prison. That's why they have to take the Josh Duggars, the Chad Daybells of the world, and they have to put them in a special housing pod now. They didn't have that all the time since 1978. They didn't have special housing units for them. They put them right back out in general population after they, won their appeal or whatever. But they committed crimes against children. They are not loved by the general population out there. And now they know that. So now they have these housing units that house idiots like the Chad Daybells or the pedophiles like, the Josh Duggars of the world. Because if they ever came anywhere near general population, they would surely die in short order. How did you do on tonight's trivia? This is completely optional to give yourself a letter grade. Some people like to give themselves a letter grade and figure out where they were on the scale. Tonight, I would have gotten myself a C as in cat. I knew 12 of the 20 before putting tonight's trivia together. That is what I would have gotten. Again, this is completely optional to give yourself a letter grade. We're only here for fun and for entertainment purposes only, and to hang out with our friends here in the chat. It is completely optional. Question of the week. Yes, I cannot put these on YouTube on the community tab anymore because the YouTube in their infinite wisdom has decided that the content is not shareable and violates community guidelines. So I can post them there, but I would have to make them for channel members only, which is stupid, but true. The question of the week is though, should there be an expiration timeline on charging someone with murder in the US? Currently, if you murder someone today and you get away with it for 80 years and you're still alive, there is no expiration date for murder. Yes, answer A, yes, B, no, maybe depends on the case, or D, Mickey Mouse is my friend. How do you feel about should there be an expiration timeline on charging someone with murder? Poll questions that I have on the community tab here on YouTube. Do you believe the Epstein files have been altered potentially to remove information that could be considered highly damaging or implicating of certain individuals? 69% of those who have voted have said yes, it's been very clear it was going to be. 9% said no, it's all a witch hunt against certain people. 11% tie for maybe not sure, haven't given it much thought, or I like whiskey on the rocks, pour me two fingers. Going to try this again. If I was to do a live stream on Thanksgiving night and the subject matter being around food, family, and why people secretly dread family gatherings, would you be interested in taking part in showing up at the same time, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 5 o'clock Mountain, 6 o'clock Central, 7 o'clock Eastern, 12 midnight in the UK? Obviously, this would be an addition to our regular Sunday night trivia. It would not replace that Sunday night, but Thanksgiving is on Thursday, so it would be Thursday night of November 25th. 64% said yes, please do it. 8% said no, I will have family with me. 22% said maybe, depends on if I have time. And 6% said not interested in the subject matter. A sample question, if I was to do the trivia night, is a question like the one you have on your screen now. What is the number one reason people secretly dread family holiday gatherings? A, old family drama resurfacing. B, too much food they don't like. C, family doesn't support their lifestyle. Or D, football or sports on TV. That would be a sample. That's a sample question of the kind of questions that would be on that trivia night. I'll be at dinner at that time. Do you have a question about tonight's trivia night? I strive to have the most accurate trivia night online. However, I do make mistakes. I am only human after all. And as a human being, we are all flawed. If you've seen an error, have a follow-up question, or I will research the question and give you a shout out like we had earlier in tonight's trivia. If you have a question or follow up, think that I made a mistake, you can email me at 411nowbusiness@gmail.com. That's all one word. There are no spaces or underscores in that. All one word. Additionally, 100% of the trivia night subjects we answer in questions here are viewer suggested. If you have a suggestion, you would like to see as a trivia night subject matter, you can email me at that same email address, 411nowbusiness@gmail.com. Please put in the subject matter the context of your email. I get a lot of spam A lot. Well, I'm talking thousands of emails a month, especially since I put my email address out there. But I do try to answer them in the order received. Links to the fan merchandise investigation fund, which actually helps cover the cost of doing all this, and channel membership. Those are clickable links if you're watching this live. Thank you again for taking part in tonight's trivia. While we were doing trivia tonight, Rage Against the Machine CD was here tonight. Kill 'Em All by Metallica. Rage Against the Machine. Dial a Song by They Might Be Giants. And Salt and Pepper. What? Why is he showing us CDs? They're right there. It might be in a little window. Maybe you're watching on a television and you can see them. But as I do the trivia night, every single week, the CDs change in the background from right there. What did I not get to tonight? Black Sabbath. We Sold Our Soul for Rock and Roll. Pantera. And Blues Traveler. They will make an appearance later. Probably next trivia night. Maybe, maybe not. I'll just say I can't stand my mother-in-law, but I will always host a gracious holiday if she's involved. That's a nice thing to do. CDs used to be the bomb. I got hundreds and hundreds of CDs, right, Cart? And that's after when I sold my business, off. I probably sold about 800, 900 CDs then. I probably have, I would, at just a ballpark figure, maybe 300, 400 CDs now. I'm constantly buying them. I got that one at Goodwill for $1.99. Salt and Pepper for $1.99. Last week we had Godsmack, 99 cents at Goodwill. Really. Jim Croce, The Lost Recordings. Johnny Cash, 99 cents at Goodwill. And Dark Side of the Moon. And that was $1.99 at a community thrift. I love music. I love music of all types. Classical, jazz, opera, blues, rock, heavy metal, country, punk. I find value in all types of music. Always have. I'm not saying that I'm gonna, I'd go out of my way to find, a new, punk album or a new country artist or something along those lines. But if I hear it and I like it, I listen to it. Godsmack. Crying Like a Bitch. Love that song. Crying Like a Bitch. They used to arrest merchants at the flea market for pirate CDs sales. Music is your therapy. You love Elvis, Johnny Cash, the 80s and 90s. Can't go wrong with that. Never gotten into rap. I don't know. I've always liked it because I've always found, if it was the Sugar Hill Gang from like the original type of rap, all the way up to like the gangster rap. and stuff like that. The East Coast West Coast battle kind of stuff. I got into. I like it. I mean, it there. I find value not only in the music, the musical score itself, but the lyrics, the image that it's putting out, and what it's all about. And it's the same thing with country music. People say they don't like country music because if you play every one of the songs backwards, you get your truck and your dog back. You know, it's not. You know, and so I enjoy everything from like new country to like Luke Combs, Morgan Wallen. I like that kind of country to all the way to the Dead Kennedys punk from the 80s, 70s and 80s, and to your Pantera to in heavy metal Pantera to I like Beethoven. I like show tunes. I got a whole lot of show tunes down here on record. So that's what this is behind me. I mean, this is not just for looks. These are my cassettes. This is my 12 cassette deck, record player, amplifier. Got speakers all the way around this thing. Love country music. Shania Twain. Yeah. I mean, I like everything from Ronnie Millsap to, like I said, Morgan Wallen, uh, Luke Bryant. I mean, you name it. I find value in all types of music and all kinds of artists, and I don't say look, this is my favorite, or that one thing that I gravitate to. Sometimes, I'll be cooking and I just want to listen to some Chopin, or maybe I'm working on my car and I'm changing the oil, and I just have to have a little 1980s Razor's Edge, Judas Priest. I don't know why I do it. That's just the way I am, like the way I'm built, I guess. I find value in everything. Blondie's Rapture. Reba is your go-to country music. I interviewed Lionel Richie. He said love never goes out of style. That is so cool. Deadline Crime and Lifestyle. Or one or two Eminem songs. I have the 8 Mile CD by Eminem. It's the only one that I've ever purposely bought. I do when I'm cleaning the house. Life is way too short to to hate anything. Be you. Listen to what you like. If you don't like a certain type of music, don't listen to it. Listen to what you like. Enjoy it. I mean, none of us are guaranteed another tomorrow. None of us know what's going to happen tomorrow. I mean, you could be sitting in your house and a jet engine could fall off out of an airplane and squash your house and kill you. You could be walking out to your car and get run over by a Mack truck or something that where the rolled down a hill and hit you. You never know. You could drop dead from a medical condition you didn't even know you had. You don't know. I don't know. I don't have the answers. If I had the answers and I knew the answers to when everyone was going to die or how they're going to die, I don't know if I'd necessarily tell them, hey, Brian, you only have 12 days and 3 hours left. Hey, Susan, you've got 51 years left. That'd be nice to know if you had 51 years, but think about the implications of telling someone if they have a short amount of time left, because they wouldn't believe you. Oh yes, you do love Eminem because you're from Michigan. Cooked and play darts and get away from my extended family. Do you like playing darts, Kitty Q? I haven't played darts in so long. I have a really nice dart set. Yeah, I used to play darts in a dart league every Friday night. I used to play. I don't think Michael Jackson was a pedo. I don't think so either. I'm really looking forward to the biopic that's coming out. His nephew who's playing Michael. And if you watch like the trailers, I mean, he sounds and looks so much like Michael. It's unbelievable. I was watching the Michael doc the other day, and he was so damn talented. He was extraordinarily talented, but we also have to remember the horrific things that happened to Michael growing up. He never had a childhood, and that's a large reason why he became the way he did as an adult. He was trying to relive the childhood he never got to have. Just think how old he was when he joined the Jackson Five and the pressures that his dad put upon the family to perform and to rehearse and to constantly get better. He didn't have a childhood. It was all stolen from him. And I tend to believe when it comes to Michael, if he was a pedo or not, I believe he's not because I base it upon the individuals that were around him at that time, particularly like Macaulay Culkin and others who said they never saw it and he never did anything with him and then there was the one case that settled out of court because the father made it up and he knew it and we knew it later on, but people don't relinquish that idea about him. His father was evil. My son played little league with one of Michael's nephews. I don't think Michael was a pedo, says Callie, Lisa. But they used to say that rock and music was from the devil. Even the 50s rock and roll was from the devil, is what they said. True. The generation before, and then, I mean, you look at the different generations as people going along. The generation before me didn't like the music that came out during my generation when I was younger, and the generation before that didn't like my parents' music, and the generation before that didn't like my grandparents' music. And it was all immoral. Music of the devil was gonna rot your soul. Later on, but he never made any allegations during that time though. But Macaulay's got his own problem, so I don't think Macaulay's clean. He says he is, but I don't think he is. I'm going to ask Google. Google what? Google. YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world. Only Google search engine is more powerful and has more results than the YouTube search engine. Just remember that. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to wrap up tonight's trivia. Again, thank you everyone for being here tonight. I hope that you all have a terrific week ahead and you stay safe out there. And remember, like Purple likes to point out, you never know who's going to be standing next to you next, and you never know who's going to be knocking at your door. Before we jump out of here, if you go ahead and click on that, thumbs up, It doesn't do a whole lot, but it takes a lot of them. But you get them a whole bunch of thumbs up on something, it shows the algorithm just a little that someone is interested and like the content, and it helps push it out to somebody else who may enjoy this content. So, in the meantime, you have a terrific week ahead, and I will see you again soon. Bye.